Hi, I'm back. I'm Jill with Copycat Crafts by Jill with a new project. This one may take maybe 3, 4, 5 videos, but it's really how I do my projects. I don't normally do smaller things. I do folios and things like that, and that's what this is going to be, kind of a folio in a folio. um, what I'm using are just these hanging file folders. This one I got, I don't know, maybe 5 of them at Goodwill, so I don't know if they particularly have this kind. They are a little shiny, so I'm hoping that doesn't give me a problem, but they do have the cool tan or camel on the inside. I did cut down the line and took off these. I do keep these. I did keep them. I just wanted to show you what I used because I wanted to figure out my size. And this is going to be my size. This is one file folder, and it is 6 inches. I believe 6 inches. If I put it down here, you'll see it's 6 inches. And I'm going to say exactly 16 inches. I'm going to show you exactly where I scored. I guess before I do that, I'm going to use this digital kit that I had actually purchased from Victoria Designs on Etsy. I'm not sure why they printed out 8x8. I don't know. Again, I printed this out before I printed out my last kits, the kits that I bought, and printed them out. So I don't know if this was supposed to print out at a different size, but this printed out at 8x8. Most of it is on cardstock. Some of it is only printed on one side, and some of it is printed on 2 sides. I didn't do all of it on 2 sides, just some of it. So that's what I'm going to be using. But I'm going to find out if I just printed it the wrong size. I thought when I bought it, it said 12x12 after I purchased it, and I don't have any paper 12x12. I don't even think my printer does 12x12, so I don't know if that's why my printer printed it in 8x8, but I have 8x8, so that's what I'm going to be using, and they're really lovely papers. Okay, so I'm going to show you if you end up with the size I'm making. This is just the cover. The actual folio that I'm going to make and put in here is actually going to stick out the top and the bottom. So this is 6. My prints are 8. I'm probably just going to stick with the 8 and have hardly no cutoff. But I just want to show you where all this was scored, so that if you want to make it my size, how I'm making it, you can. So again, it's 6 inches by 16 inches. And it did have the normal score and fold at wherever the normal score and fold is. Let's see. It's normally scored and folded. So I just went with that. I worked with that. So let's see. It must have been, I'm going to try and figure it out here. Oh, it must have been, is it this one? Okay, so it was this one, because that's how it was. So yep, so that was the original score. All right, the original score, I'm going to just put some stain on it so you can see it if there's any stain on my dauber. That way, as I talk about each one, maybe you can see it better. See, yes, you can see that now. That was the original score. Let me get out my stain so that I can continue to do that. Okay, so put that original score on any number, and then I went 1.5 inches and I scored again. So if I put that on 6 and go back and just go 1.5 inches, and then I scored it again. So now we have 2 score lines. So now I'm going to darken that one so you can see where the 2 score lines are. Okay, now let me see. Can you see them? Yes, you can see them. Okay, those are important. From here out, you can make it any way you want. If you want to do it my way, I will take you along with me. Again, find the score mark and put it on any number. And then we're just going to count 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch. So at 5, you score it again. At 5 inches, you want this to be 5 inches. And you score it again. So I'm going to put stain on that score mark. Okay. Then I wanted a tiny spine. So I went 1/4 inch. So put your last score mark on any number and go 1/4 inch and score it again. So I'm going to put stain on that score mark. Okay, so now we have 1/4 inch spine, a 1.5 inch spine, and 5 inches in between. So that's what we want on this side. We want 5 inches. So put your score line on any number and count 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Score. And now I will put stain on that so you can see where we just scored. Okay, so now we have, that's our cover, our front cover and our back cover. But we also want the same 1/4 inch spine. So find any number, put it on the number, and just go 1/4 inch. Score. Let me put some ink on that. That will also help visually now, I'm hoping, when we're working on it, that you can tell where we are. Now, it does have a score line here. I didn't do that. They come on the folder. I didn't do it. This is where I lifted off the metal piece because I like to keep the parts that have the cutout on them. Okay, so this is going to be our cover. And it doesn't matter, though, these on the inside. See how one's longer than the other? Does not matter. We're going to be gluing something to them, making them pockets, whatever. That is not important. All we want is the 1.5 inches in the back and the 1/4 inch in the 2/4 inches, and a lot of room because we're going to put eyelets, 2 eyelets in here, and then we're going to connect our folio that we make separate from this and put eyelets in the spine of that and connect it to here. And it will be tied either in here or in the folio. So you can remove it and put it back in. Super easy. That's my plan. I have no other plan. I'm just gonna, we're winging it. This is freestyling. So if it doesn't work out, we will have a good laugh. And I also am hoping I don't ruin my paper. So, okay, I'm gonna put the ink away because I think we're done with that. I would like to dig out the cardstock pieces, not the paper pieces. Some of this cardstock, I'm going to need it to be printed on both sides, and the other pieces I will not. So I'm going to separate them. So that's one that is not. That is not. And if I think I need more printed on printed double-sided, I will do that in private, because no one needs to see that. Okay, that is double. These are not double, double, double. I love these papers. Again, they were from an Etsy shop, Victoria Designs. I'm sure everyone knows Victoria Designs. She has a YouTube channel. I will link this kit. I will link. But do your homework, because she may have the same exact kit that is in American size paper, 11 by 8.5. Like I said, I think when I couldn't figure out why I was printing in 8 by 8, when I looked at the kit that I bought, it's just papers, no, but still, when I look at the digital kit I bought, it said, I think it said 12 by 12, and had I been a little bit more paying attention, I would not have purchased the 12 by 12. I would have looked for one in American size. Now I do have these, and I don't know if I'm going to be using them. I'm not even sure where I got them. They might have been from a free thing. Not sure. Not sure. So I'm just going to stick them aside. And I'm going to take off my sweater because it gets hot. Okay, these are just papers. They are not cardstock. This is all cardstock, and it's all one-sided. Sorry, trying to not make too much noise. I like to print on both paper and cardstock, because when I do this, I'm probably going to just use paper on some of this to cover it. But I want the cardstock for sure. Okay. I'm going to move the coffee, and I'm going to get this. Okay, so these are the double. And I'm just trying to decide. I would like it to be more folio-ish. So I'm probably going to have to do, since these are so little, probably more what the last kit that I made, where you have a bottom, you have two sides, and then you have two flaps. So if you did craft along with me, if you did purchase those kits and you're putting them together, good for you, good practice, because we're probably going to need that type of crafting here, because these aren't big enough to only use one. I'm definitely going to have to be piecing it together, which is fine. I just have to decide. The bottom one does not have to have any printing on the back. So I just need to know how big my bottom needs to be. I know I want it high, and these are 8 inches, I believe. So let me measure 8 inches to make sure this is 8 inches, because that only leaves me with an inch top and bottom hanging out of this. And that's fine. I would have liked a little more, but nope, it's 8 inches. And it already is 8 inches this way, which we won't need all 8 inches. So, okay, so I want to keep the height. I just need to trim. And we know this is 5 inches. Whoop, we know this is 5 inches, almost 5 inches. Well, if I move that over, I guess it's, yes, it's 5 inches if I go from the actual mark. Okay. So this, we want a little under that. I don't want it sticking out, so I want it inside. So we're going to go at least 1/4 of an inch less. Maybe closer to a 1/2 inch. Okay, so why measure and mark when I have this? So I'm going to, excuse if I bump my phone, which is what I'm using to record, or if I make too much noise or get my head in the way. All kinds of bad can go wrong here. All kinds of things. Do it this way. It's kind of my favorite cutter. I know everyone has the big fancy, you know, Tim Holtz ones, which would be great. Love it. Couldn't afford it if I can't afford that. This is just Fiskars, but it has the Sure Cut wire in it. If you can see that in my finger there. Love it. Love it. If Tim Holtz ever came out with a Sure Cut wire, I'd be so on it, but to be honest, he probably can't because of, I don't know, copyright or patent or something. Okay, so again, I want to go about at least 1/4 inch less than 5. So 4 3/4. Let's look at that. 4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4. Get it lined up all the way down. 4 3/4. There we go. And that is how high I want it. This is just going to be my back. I'm going to do the sides, which will have little wings on them. That will be my little joint to bend it. So that I do want in double-sided. So let me put that aside. And yes, this is my double-sided. Some of these pieces are some of my favorites. Like, oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, I don't want to pick a piece that has... Let me see. Oh, look at this. Oh, why am I so... Why am I so in love with digital kits and papers? Why? Okay, I'm just going to go pick these two, because I'm pretty sure... Oh, 8 and 8 is 4. Oh. Sorry, I should have prepared a little bit. I could have trimmed all my pieces and cut them all down, but well, now you're unfortunately stuck watching me. But if you are crafting with me, or you are even working on the last kit, perhaps it doesn't really matter if I'm trimming paper, gluing with glue, making holes, making mistakes. Maybe that doesn't really matter. You just want someone to craft with. So here I am. All right. Maybe you'll see now why I say I really am slow. I actually enjoy the process, so I like to take my time. I also feel I'm easily overwhelmed if I just start flinging things around. And once I get overwhelmed, I might as well just go and just stop. Might as well go take a nap or something, because I almost come to a complete stop. And I like to be very, I don't know if the word's methodical, but very just sure. And again, I ink. This is going to be kind of on the grungy type. So any little, you know, strips of not quite getting down to the color and having a tiny bit of white, that will get completely fixed. Okay, so here is our back, and again, that might go on that will go over, is what I'm trying to say. So I want one of the flaps. They're not going to be even, so I want one of the flaps, and we're not going to see any of this, because once these get glued, I'm going to glue all the pieces on. You're going to see all that, and then I'm going to glue one piece over it to hide everything. So I really probably will need 2 of these sizes, but we'll work on that in a bit. So anyway, I'm just going to score. I know I want it this height, so I'm going to score maybe a 1/4 inch. Let me score a 1/4 inch and see if that is good enough. So I'm going to pick any number. I'm going to spin it around actually. And if I score, if I score, it gets bent. Okay, all right. I think I get it. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I'm on the, must be a tiny bit wonky. I mean a tiny bit, but I don't want to. How's that look? Okay, so I'm going to just score at a 1/4 inch. Did I just use my point? All right, so just going to bend that. I have to be careful. If I score too hard, I end up putting a little rip in the paper. So I do try to be a little more soft-handed. I'm very heavy-handed. Okay. All right. Okay. So it can either be like this. I could do it on this side. Doesn't really matter. I can cut it anywhere I want over here, as long as it's not past my bottom piece. It has to be less than. So I think I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do is mark it. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, I want it to be, I'm gonna say here, so that's where I'm gonna cut it. Yep, and I'll have this piece left, but we will use it. Okay, I didn't think I'd be going back and forth so much. Okay, let me get this squared up. Okay. All right. I'm going to round those corners at some point, so remind me. All right, then here will be the other one, and we're going to do the same thing. I want to score at a 1/4 inch on this piece. Come in handy to have a super large desk. Okay. Just making sure. Okay, 1/4 inch. You could do a 1/2 inch. It's just this paper is so small already, and a 1/4 inch. Oops, I want that on top, so I'm going to bend it the wrong way, right? Yes, I'm bending it the wrong way. Should have scored it on this side, but you're supposed to score, and the part that's an indent, that is where you fold it. Okay, so now we have this piece, which will go like that. And how far do I want it? Probably in between these two stamps. This side can be smaller. It's not a big thing. I can even just leave it here and just whoop. You can tell that's a magnet. And just okay. Now this piece. Okay. I almost panicked. It was upside down. I almost panicked. Okay. So this is what we have so far. That will open like this. This will open like this. This will get covered. This we're going to trim and use as a flap. We can either use it as a flap. We could use one as a flap and use, yes, that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. All right, while I have this one here, I'm just going to, we know it's 8. I don't want a whole 4 inches, do I? Do I? All right, we'll do it. 4 inches. That will be my, I'm just trying to think. Actually, I will use this one on the bottom. And the reason why is, one, it is smaller, and I'm not worried about that. But two, I do have to make, I do have to still do the 1/4 inch. Oh, that sounded very, very rippy. Okay, so down here I want to do, I will have to make it to fit, so I will have to cut some of that off, which is fine. I want it a little less. I don't want it a little less. I mean a hair less, because I don't want it to get caught by the two sides. So we're just going to call it there. If I want to use this one or not, I do not. It's not my sure fit. So before I trim it, what I will do, since I have this, is just put my score line in. So I'm going to put that at also 1/4. Trying to use not the point. Whoop. Okay, let's see if we, yes, see, you're supposed to fold it at the indent, at the valley, not the peak. peaks and valleys. Okay, so this will, as soon as we trim that, this will be the fold up. Gotta move that back out of the way. Okay, so now I'm just going to straighten that. All right, won't need that little piece. All right, I'm going to start marking these so that I can get, so I can keep it organized. That's just how I am. So this is the back. So I'm just going to write back. Okay. This is for here. I am going to miter the corners. Not a lot, just a little. Just helps to keep so much of the extra bulk out of top or bottom where you could possibly see it. So we'll just miter them, get them out of the way. Okay, so now we have our left and right side. It doesn't really matter which is left, which is right. Well, it does now because we don't want them upside down, but this will also get covered. We will put, you know, pockets and stuff. So this will get, so I just want to miter this. I might even have to, oh, I know what I would like to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that's going to be the glue where I glue it. But you know, I think I want to, I want a spine in the bottom. I want this to be box-like, just like our thing. So, just like the kit we just put together. So that's what I'm going to do. I am also going to make a 1/2 inch. Goes this way, I guess. So if I put my score line on any number, there's my score line. I can move in 1/4 and do a 1/4 box, or a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch. Yes, I am. 1/2 inch. There we go. Yep. Do it, score a couple times. That's what I was told. Now I want to do that. Okay, so now we're going to have a 1/2 inch spine. I am going to just quickly mark that with the ink so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm just inking right now for you to see my score lines. That's really my only reason for inking the score line. Okay. So there you can see my score line. 1 at 1/4 and 1 at a 1/2 inch. Okay. Okay. I want a 1/2 inch on all my pieces. And for this one, I was going to build it out anyway, so I am not going to fret not adding on the extra 1/2 inch. No big deal to me. I just want to try and ink it to show yous. Okay, and I'm going to ink this one right now because every piece is going to get a 1/2 inch spine, and we still have a piece that I would to come from the top and fold down, fold up from the top. So, okay, so let's see, can you see my original score line? I'm going to move in a 1/2 inch. So put that score line on any number, come in a 1/2 inch and score it score it again, 1/2 inch. Now you don't have to do a 1/2 inch spine. You can pick another 1/4 inch and do a 1/4 inch. But for me, I'm picking a 1/2 inch because I'll show you as soon as I get done inking this why I'm picking a 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's my spine on the side. There it is. I am going to put a eyelet here and here. So I need enough space to put an eyelet. I don't know, my eyelet probably would not fit on a 1/4. It would be just a little too tight. I wouldn't be comfortable with that. So I'm going with a 1/2 inch. If you're not going to use the same size eyelet, if you're going to use the smaller eyelet, you may be able to use a 1/4 inch. But for me, to be on the safe side, I'm going a 1/2 inch. Okay, put your score line, any number, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're straight. Again, for me, 1/2 inch and score. Now, I've had a couple questions on scoring, on the score line cracking. It still does. Sometimes I like to think it's sometimes poor quality paper, but when we know it's not poor quality paper, it could also just be if you live in a drier climate, if your paper is much drier, you will have perhaps more cracking when you score it a little bit. That's just a guess, because I'm guessing. But if you're looking for answers, my suggestion is, although a lot of journal creators and people on YouTube that make tons of journals, and they're wonderfully smart and have all kinds of wonderful answers, and they do. When it comes to cardstock, I go to card makers because a card maker strives for total perfection. It has to be perfect. A card can't be super wonky or junk journal-y style. It usually is very, very precise. So I know on my last video, or my second to last video, there was a question on the paper cracking. I did link a video. It was an old video, but it was a woman that I had watched. I had found her video a couple years ago and watched. I didn't implement always, but I did watch her video and felt that she had good advice. So on scoring and how to keep your paper from cracking. And I do believe what she says. And but I just thought I'd throw that out there, that if you need some advice on card making and stuff like that, you probably would take advice from a card maker, because they really understand cardstock. Now, the other thing I want to touch base on, and it's more probably a complaint, is, are they making cardstock thinner and not claiming it's thinner? I'm just putting it out there, because honest goodness, I'm telling you, I have gotten a hold of cardstock. Like even this, it's $1.99 GMS or whatever. It's it just feels thinner to me. I'm just saying. Just saying. And I've been looking up thicker paper, and the cost is unbelievable. I don't know if I'd be able to afford using thicker paper at the cost anyway that they want for it. Okay, so now I need, I mean, I could use this. I mean, this one's for up. This one would be for down, and I'd hate to have to lose all the stamps. So I may use this more for pocket, and I don't know if I want something totally so sideways, but plus I really like that. Nope. Nope, sorry, we're going to have to cut another piece. Okay, so there's my flap. These are pieces I'm saving. Whoops, sorry, I'm going to have to cut another piece. Please bear with me. Part of just the problem of not printing it at 11 inches tall. The other thing is I cannot seem to print without a border. I have looked it up. I've pulled every trick, every person who's found a way to do it on their printer, and they've did a video about it. Nope. I've tried, and it does not work for me. Because that certainly would save, a lot of time. Because you end up spending an awful lot of time trimming when you wouldn't have to if I could just print without the border. But all right, now I need a piece. This is going to be the bottom. I want a piece that's going to come down like that. Jill. All right, so okay, so I want it this wide. So let's mark it this wide. But I want it long. Whoop. Okay. I want it long. Maybe not all 8-inch long. Maybe that's not. But I do want it long. Okay. Yeah, maybe not 8-inch long. But I want the 1/4 inch to glue, the 1/2 inch as my spine. I'm going to do that before I trim it. That way I can decide where I want to trim it. So let's put our score marks in it. So we find any number, move it in 1/4 inch, and that's where you want your score for to glue. Then from that score, put that score at any number. I have it up a little high here. Okay, and then you want to go 1/2 inch. Okay. Okay, so then we do the little one. Okay, I'm going to ink these so you can see that we definitely have the score inked. It's hard to see there. I've done this one. Okay, so there we have our 1/2 inch spine on top. Okay, so now I'm going to move the scoreboard out of the way, because now this will get glued to the back of here. Do I have the right piece? Yes. Okay. And this one gets glued to the bottom down here. Okay, so it will be a 1/2 inch like that. Yeah, I want at probably right to here at least. Yep. Yep, that's what I'm looking for, because otherwise it'd be here, here. Just see, yeah. Yeah, if I cut it here, I will still have that cute piece, and that gives me about 1.25 inch overlap, which I like. Okay. Executive decision made. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to round some of the corners that I know I'm going to round. And I want them, let's go medium. Medium, yep. I want these rounded, medium. Okay, I want this rounded. You don't have to round, and even if you do, you don't, and this I'm not, because I'm definitely probably gonna do something. So I'm not gonna round this, or at least not yet. I can always round it later. It's extremely hard to put the round back on, so we're not doing that. Let's see. I think I'm going to get the one pocket, or the one extra piece I should say, and just see where I can work in an extra flippy flappy, because I just feel like if you're going to go to all the trouble of making a folio, we want the flippy flappies. All right, so maybe I'll put one more over here, and it will probably most likely be this one. Do it over here, halfway down. So just trying to figure it out, because I have absolutely no game plan here. So that would open, then that would open, that would open, that would go underneath. It almost looks like the same. Do it that way. Yes. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this side. Okay. Sorry about all the flipping and... Okay, so first I get put it at any number and do 1/4 inch for the glue. Oops. For my hinge, 1/4 inch. Okay, then at your 1/4 inch hinge score line, put that at the number and go 1/2 inch. Oh no, I don't want 1/2 inch. This one I do not, because this is not going to be part of the square. So for this, really, I just want that 1/4 inch. That's all I want is this mark. Oh, no, it goes this way. Yep, that's all I want. Okay, then I may have to nip that off. So let's see if I can balance it and do it right like this. Oop. Okay, good enough. All right. Okay, so let me just put some ink on this score mark. I kind of like to get both sides of the score just because I don't want anyone peeking down there and seeing. Okay, now if that one opens this way, because my little one is opening from the right. So let me put that out of the way, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is going to be like this. If I put this one here, like that, because this one is going to have an addition on it, probably, maybe. Maybe. This one up here. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to glue some of these pieces on. So to do that, I have to ink. So, sorry, but that gives you a chance to perhaps catch up or go get something, bathroom break, coffee, tea. Okay, let's see. We have to do both sides. That's a must. Because I still don't know exactly where I'm going to be placing pockets, so I'm just inking everything. If you think about it prior to just starting, you may know exactly where you're going to put in pockets and little, any little surprise places, envelopes, whatever. You may not have to ink everything, but when I'm crafting on the fly, I just don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna do some of this. And also, you can sew. I really wanted to sew. My problem is when I sew, I have to keep leaving the video because I can't bring my sewing machine to my desk. It's a cast iron old Singer from 1915 or something like that, 1923 or something. And so it is where it is. All right. This I really should put a nicer cut, but I don't want to get rid of any of the numbers and words. That's the most interesting thing on this, so we're leaving it, which is fine because there will be pockets in here that are going to be just torn, so they're going to be really rough edges, so they're not all going to be cut. I know there's quite a few people who don't care for to ink, I guess. I guess if I didn't ink my things, I wouldn't want to have to sit and watch someone ink all their papers. So I guess the only thing you can do is fast forward, because I'm really stuck. I just don't want to not ink. No one would know it was that I made it if I didn't ink it. Guess the harder part is that it's on both sides. Ends up being an awful lot of inking. Okay, those edges I could ink once we get it together. So I'm just going to start gluing that way. That way you're not totally stuck. And because I'm a roocher, I need rich time. So I will be using, this is 3-in-1. It's basically the same as Fabri-Tac. So okay, let's see where little edge, kind of hard to, okay. Want it right on there. Just want to push it in a little bit and down a little bit. Yep. Just yep. Anywhere you feel needs trimming, don't fret. You can trim it if you feel you need to. Okay. Right in there. Should went in a little bit closer there. All right. And where's my... Okay. Here we go. Then we have this one. And again, the back will get covered up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to probably put a string or something around the back to close everything and tie it, or around this way. Nope, definitely this way. Maybe. I really did not come to this with a game plan. I don't want to do that one without inking that, to be honest. Those are too hard to ink. I don't want anyone peeking in there and thinking I took the shortcut way. Okay. Plus it helps to see where the glue goes. Okay. Oop. There we go. Oop, take it in here. There we go. Okay, so we already have our little. Now we're going to put this on the bottom. Okay. And then we can decide this is where you start to oh, I need miter. That is not all that big of a issue since all that's getting covered. Where you realize that even if you put something down and you can see a seam or see something, you know, you can just put another pocket on top of it. Because again, the more pockets and flippy flappy places on any of these type of things, the more enjoyable they are. They really are. The folios, I just love to think how mysterious, like just exciting, intriguing to get to open them and just have all these places, hidden places. Some are really eye-catching, and others you find later. You know, I made a card about 2 years ago that was a tiny folio type card. It had all kinds of little pockets and hidden little places in it, and I sent it off to my friend. She received it, and of course she loved it, and she was like, oh, it's so, you know, wonderful. And then it was about a year later when she said to me, oh my gosh, I just found 2 more pockets that I didn't know were in the card. It really wasn't a card. I made it kind of like a card, but it really was more like a tiny miniature folio. It did have pages and all kinds of fancy things. But I thought it was funny that she had it all that time and finally just found something new. Okay, so now for wait a minute. Okay, well anyway, nope, I think I want it here. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and like I said, I need another one of these. It will go on top. It may not be that big. I may make it a pocket, but I want this one here. Yes, that works. Okay. Do I want this down a little bit? Do I want them to crisscross like that? Crisscross. Yes. Okay, so I want this one here. Really, until I decide, well, and ink it, but until I decide exactly what kind of pocket or thing I want to maybe to extend this side. I might, now that I see it, I'm not hating it. So okay, I want this over. Don't want it to get right up on that because we need that too. Yep. Okay, so that is here now. Yep. I think maybe I even want another one kind of like that, but not this long. Let me see. Like that or like that? Like that. I like that. I think I'm going to cut this one. And then this will be a flap. Yeah, because if I put the pocket over here, yep, I want the flap over here. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Alright, this may be stupid, but I'm just going to cut on this line. Okay. Over here is where I want only the 1/4 inch. Don't want, whoop, I only want the 1/4 inch. So we don't have to just want a 1/4 inch. So just put it to any number and put your 1/4 inch. And then fold it. Okay, let's see if I can ink it quick. I want to ink this side as well, so okay. Okay, and then I want, do I want it? No, I want it on top. Definitely on top. Do I want it on top? No, I think I want it under. Has to go under. Has to go under. So I wanted this part to show. That won't work. I'm just going to have to use it somewhere else. Or trim it. I'm going to use it somewhere else because I wanted this part to show. Yeah, I'm just going to use it somewhere else. I'd have to, if I put it here though, then I need a whole thing. Nope, I want that. I'm going to put that elsewhere. Gonna put that elsewhere. Just thinking as I go, sorry. Okay, well, we have so far our square, or our box, I should say. We have our box. We have all our extra pieces. We definitely want to use this one as well. Just not, no, I didn't want the same. Did not want the same. No. All right, leave it alone, Jill. Okay. All right, I'm going to ink everything, and I'll be back tomorrow with probably a little bit more to add in here that we've been doing. And then we're going to start on pockets and put the eyelets in. Yes, we are. Okay. Well, that's enough for tonight. So get your, if you didn't start, pick your paper, pick your papers, whether it's Tim Holtz or one of the other paper packs or a digital kit, and craft along. All right, I will quit rambling and I'll see you in the next video. Hugs.